So it's very rare nowadays that we see a card that appeases both people on the cash back side as well as people that are on team travel like myself. And the Chase Freedom Flex is the card that does that and does that amazingly because of its rotating quarterly categories, allows you to earn 5% on certain categories on every single quarter, and those points are actually Chase Ultimate Reward points that if you couple it with something like the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you can then go through the transfer partners and actually transfer those out and use it on team travel. But if you don't have a Chase Sapphire Preferred or Reserve, then you just stick with cash back even though it is technically Chase Ultimate Reward points. But oh boy, now in Q2 that's coming up, this card just got that much better. So let's talk about it. So the Chase Freedom Flex over the span of the last year for me has been one of these cards that I've sneakily been using more and more because of both the sign-up bonus that I received with it as well as its rotating quarterly categories. So first off, the sign-up bonus that I have, which as of right now is not available, the sign-up bonus allowed me to get up to $600 of cash back over a span of a year with 5% cash back on both groceries and gas stations. So again, we earn those in Chase Ultimate Reward points, which equates to about 60,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points that I got to use because I got it as a 5x card and I use it as my main grocery card, and that's about to end here at the end of March. And also, if you guys watched my video on how to get 9x back on groceries, for quarter one, the rotating quarterly category was grocery cards. So on up to $1,500 to spend for Q1 of this year, I was able to combine not only my sign-up bonus of 5% cash back, but also the rotating quarterly category of 5% cash back, which gave me 9% cash back on every dollar spent at grocery stores through March because I was able to combine the two. So that became a nice method that I used to accumulate as many Chase Ultimate Reward points as I could, which unfortunately is about to end here at the end of March because March of last year is when I did sign up for the card and the rotating quarterly category of groceries is leaving come March 31st. But like I mentioned, for Q2, we are in store for an even better quarter in my opinion. So let's quickly go over the Chase Freedom Flex before we get into the rotating categories. The sign-up bonus as it stands right now is that you get $200 cash back after you spend $500 in the first 3 months, which to me is a no-brainer whether you are on Team Cashback or Team Travel because that's 40% return on all your spend for the first $500. And I will be making a video soon about the Chase ecosystem and how I use it, but like I mentioned, you do earn Chase Ultimate Reward points, which if you do not have a Chase Sapphire Preferred or Reserve, you then end up converting those points into a dollar amount, and it's basically for every 100 points you get $1. So you do get rewarded 20,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points after you spend $500 that you then convert to $200, which basically is what gives you the cash back. And in terms of all the normal categories you get year-round, you get 5% cash back on all travel booked through the Chase Ultimate Reward portal. You also get 3% cash back on dining, 3% cash back on drugstores, and then 1% cash back on everything else. So from a cash back standpoint, dining is a pretty big category. Travel is a decent category to have, especially, again, because this is a zero-fee card. And then if you do shop at CVS or Walgreens or any pharmacy, then the drugstore is a good one to have as well with a zero-fee card, which is a cashback card. But now keep those year-round categories in mind because with Q2, the categories are going to be amazing because you can now add on top of that with what they're actually giving us. So the way the Freedom Flex categories work is that every single quarter, they give you different categories of spend that will give you 5x back on that category of spend. So for instance, like I mentioned, with Q1, it was grocery stores, and I remember Q4 of last year, it was things like PayPal and EV charging. So I was able to maximize that up to $1,500 to spend per quarter, and that's the limit that you do get. So technically, the most you can get with 5x back is up to 7,500 Chase Ultimate Reward points, which to me is more than enough because $1,500 to spend over 3 months, I don't really plan on spending that much, but again, you can also get more Chase Freedom Flexes, which I'll talk about at the end of this video. So the categories for Q2 are going to be hotel stays as well as dining and also Amazon. So at least once a year, Chase does give us 1 quarter for Amazon purchases, which is always a great thing to have. But think about it this way. But first, let's talk about the hotel category. The hotel category, at least for the rotating quarterly categories, is for any hotel, any purchase. You do not have to go through the Chase Ultimate Reward portal to get the 5x back. But if you do book a hotel through the Chase Ultimate Reward portal, you technically get 9x back. Because first you get 5% cash back on the actual category itself that you get year-round through the Chase Ultimate Reward portal, and then you get an additional 4x back for that rotating quarterly category. Now you might be wondering why it's not a full 10x back, because if you read the fine print, it does let you know that you do get 1 base point per dollar spent, then you get an additional 4 when you book through the Chase Ultimate Reward portal, which gives you 5, and then the same thing applies on the other side. You get 1 base point and then 4% cash back on that rotating quarterly category. So the 1 base point is kind of like that flat line, and then you get 4x and 4x, which does give you a full 9x. That's why you don't get 10x back and you do get 9x back, which to me is more than enough. So if you happen to find a hotel stay through the Chase Ultimate Reward portal that's $100 a night, you get 900 Chase Ultimate Reward points per night that you're staying there, up to that $1,500 of spend for that quarter. And then category number 2 is dining. So again, you can stack these as well. So with dining on a year-round basis with a normal category, you get 3% cash back on dining, but the same thing here applies. So you get the 1 base point plus the 2x points on the actual yearly category that you have for dining, and then you get an additional 5x points back on the rotating quarterly category, which doesn't give you the full 8, but it does give you 7% cash back on all dining for that quarter, which is, again, crazy to have up to $1,500 to spend. And then lastly, you do have Amazon, which that's very self-explanatory. Any Amazon purchase, and this also does include Whole Foods. So if that is your regular grocery store, you do get 5% cash back at Whole Foods, which is great to see. So again, this Chase Freedom Flex is a zero-fee card that's giving you all those categories. So you basically get 9x back on hotel stays through the Chase Ultimate Reward portal, then you get 7x back on all dining, and then you get 5x back on all Amazon and Whole Foods purchases, and then you do have your catch-all card, again, like I said, with the 1%, and then you also have the 3% back still with the drugstores with that year-round category. So for me, this is a no-brainer card. Whether you are Team Cashback or you are Team Travel, if you do want to maximize it on Team Travel side, then pick up a Chase Sapphire Preferred, which is a $95 annual fee card, and that unlocks the ability to then transfer those points to your Chase Sapphire Preferred, and then allows you to transfer those out to, other airlines. So again, if you really think about it for like a dining purchase, for example, right? If you do have the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you get 7x back on any dining, which if you transfer it out correctly to other airlines or hotel categories, you can then double or triple that. So if you start to really think about it in the team travel space without overcomplicating it, you're getting 14x or 21x back on every dollar spent if you do have the Chase Sapphire Preferred, but you're using the Chase Freedom Flex for something like dining. So the first link in the description is going to be a referral link for you guys to try out the Chase Freedom Flex card because in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. And for some data points that I've seen, it's pretty easy to pick up a Chase Freedom Flex. Like you don't need an exceptional credit score. I'm thinking anywhere between 640 and a little bit higher. So if you guys do have that and are looking for a zero-fee card where you can maximize cash back, definitely pick this one up because Q2 is going to be an amazing quarter for the Chase Freedom Flex. And I did want to mention at the very end here that you are able to get more than one Freedom Flex over time. Like for instance, I applied for the Freedom Flex about a year ago and I have that as one of my personal cards. But then my wife has a Chase Sapphire Preferred that we applied for last year, which we went through the whole year process of having that card. We got the sign-up bonus and everything like that, but we ended up downgrading her because I have the Chase Sapphire Reserve and there's no point for her to have the Preferred. So now she also downgraded from the Chase Sapphire Preferred to the Chase Freedom Flex. So we technically have two Chase Freedom Flexes that we can use for Q2 of this year because like I mentioned, there is a $1,500 cap on those 5x rotating quarterly categories, and that allows us to double up. So we basically have up to $3,000 to spend, which equates to up to 15,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points that we can collect just by spending on things like hotels, dining, and Amazon. So again, no-brainer in my opinion, zero-fee annual card, very easy to use, very self-explanatory, very easy to set it and forget it. And the last thing I will mention is that with these rotating quarterly categories, you do have to manually activate them through the portal. It takes 1 second. All you do is you sign in, you literally go to the actual Chase Freedom Flex card, press activate, and then you're activated for the next quarter. So definitely take advantage of it while you guys can. So to recap, you get $200 after $500 of spend in the first 3 months on the Chase Freedom Flex that's given to you in Chase Ultimate Reward points. And then you have the regular categories of 5% cash back on any bookings through Chase Travel Portal, 3% cash back on dining, 3% cash back on drugstores, 1% cash back on everything else. And then the quarterly categories for Q2 are Amazon purchases at 5x. You also get hotels at 5x and then finally dining at 5x. So for me, this card for Q2 is going to be our dining card for all of Q2, and then we'll see how it goes. But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys did enjoy or learn something new, leave a little credit card in the comments down below so I know you made it to the end. And let me know in the comment down below. Do you guys have a Freedom Flex? Are you excited for Q2 in those categories? Are you going to pick one up? Definitely recommend picking one up, and I'll leave, like I said, that link in the description below. But that's going to do it for this video. If you want to watch more videos like this one, click on one of these right here. And until next time, I'm Fernando. Happy spending, everybody. Peace.